Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Late Night Dominion, episode 12. Sorry we missed you all last week. It was the holidays, and we were all out getting smashed. Well, taking it away, Boom, who is our lovely new host of the night.
Hi guys, welcome to Late Night Dominion with your hosts Aegon, the ginger techno mage, muscle-bound blank space, Nixus the mime, and myself, Boom, the token female, with special guest Econ PvP guru Anhrez. Take it away, Blank.
Thank you. Got a lot of stuff for you. Spent many an hour today and over the last couple of weeks compiling the news that you need to know about Wildstar. So a big chunk of the show is going to be that. And we're going to talk a little bit about telegraphs, skill ceilings, and guilds. As always, please don't post links in the old chat, because old Nightbot will spank you and won't be fun. If you have questions, comments, anything you want to say, we will get to them at the end of the show. Feel free to put them in there, and I do believe we've got Chicken collecting up all of your chicken questions for the end of the show. Make sure to follow this on Twitch. Follow us all on Twitter. We don't have Boom and Anhrez, but if you don't know who they are, quick little search of Wildstar. I'm sure you can find them. And you can like our stuff on Facebook. With that, let's get into the show. First part we have here for the weekly news. A lot of people like to complain. You know, oh, this week's Wildstar Wednesday was crappy. Oh, it was only about something small. Well, this is what I gotta say to you bitches. We didn't only have a Wildstar Wednesday, we had a DevSpeak Thursday. So, in your face. One of the things that came from last week was a big topic of discussion was cross-realm looking for dungeons. A lot of people said, you know, it ruins the community. We don't want it. A lot of people have said this. The response came from Team Wildstar, their Twitter, and they said, you'll be able to choose whether to queue cross-realm or not. So, you know, basically the implication is you want a longer queue, but you want to play with those on your server, you now have that choice. Once again, thank you for listening. I'm going to embarrass one of the devs, who's probably going to yell at me later, but I don't really care. There is a link here that Chicken's going to give you, and we will have it on the YouTube. There is a little contest going on out there. It's called the DragonSlayer. I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it. What I do know is that our developer, Scooter, is a box to check to vote for. So it says like best community rep or some crap like that. David Bass's name is on there. Y'all need to go, click the box, say, Scooter, we love you. Tomorrow I'm probably getting an email being like, why'd you do that crap? But I hope he wins a DragonSlayer award. Next up, wanted to talk a little bit about the UI stuff you guys might not have seen. We have talked about Packetdance before. I'm going to talk about her again. John Wiseman had a challenge. It was on Twitter, and he stayed up for like a really long time, and you guys are going to get a Vine. We didn't get a scene for the show, but you guys should check it out. He basically wanted to show how powerful and how fun it could be to like make an add-on, and so he called it the Bitwise Challenge. He decided to make a Tetris inside of Wildstar, and he stayed up. I guess he missed his time hack by like an hour or two. I'm not fully sure. But I did grab the Vine that shows him completing an in-game Tetris using their UI stuff. So I thought that was, you know, pretty cool. If you guys haven't seen it. You're going to get a link from Wildstar Online. It was a little bit more of a conversation about the UI add-ons, how within like the first 5 hours of the first closed beta, Packetdancer literally wrote something called Yogurt, which is some sort of grouping add-on. And I wanted to really point that out, especially, you know, from our guild and from the community perspective. We talk about being a tight-knit community, how it's really nice, the people we have around. Well, Packetdancer is another person who stands out, you know, who apparently is out there helping those who want to make add-ons, who are interested in it, you know, encouraging them to try it out because they're so open about, hey, come check out our stuff. It's really easy to use, so big thumbs up to you. And on a personal note, I had put this on there. Packetdancer actually helped me find a wheelchair room so I'd be able to go to past Prime. So for all 5 days, like, it was super hard. But big thank you to her. So that's all about that. Feel free to check it out if you're interested. That's the person to get in contact with. Hey, I like to do add-ons. I did one for WoW. I did one for SOTOR. That's a person I would definitely go talk to. We had a brief conversation with the PvP systems designer, good old Jen Gordy, that came from Wildstar DE. That was late last week, but it was definitely notable. So it didn't hit the cutting room floor. You guys should check it out. The next, we finally get to our Wildstar Wednesday. We got some houses in beta. It was kind of a cool thing. It was showing the stuff that you could put in houses, and it was really funny because it shows that you can literally put things anywhere, and they can be like ginormous or tiny. So when they say you're going to be able to customize your house the way that you want to, I feel like they're kind of being like, hey, look at what our people have done. I think it's pretty cool. Aegon, what'd you see about the Wildstar Wednesday? What'd you like?
I thought it was hilarious. I think my favorite out of all of them had to be like the whole upside down room. That whole design was just
that one was
hilarious.
All right, and Anhrez?
There were some really, really good ones that I thought, God, I wish I was that creative. The Inception one. I couldn't even dream that up, much less build it. But the one I really liked was the one that looked like a stage, because we don't know what the hobbies are for Wildstar, right? We don't know what they are. We don't know what the professions really are either, except what's in the patch notes. So what if one of the hobbies is music? You can build your own friggin' stage at your house and actually bring people over for conferences. Wouldn't that be fucking awesome?
That'd be pretty damn
Anhrez
cool.
is going to be a pop star.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I could do that. How hard is that? Stand-up comedy. Maybe stand-up comedy at your own house. You got the bar, you've got the lighting, Get us some rest XP if you make people laugh. Bring them to the house.
Wow. Man, I can see it's going to be a hell of a night tonight. Oh, goodness. All right, so getting rest XP for making people laugh. Shit, that's great.
Shit, yeah.
Kind of
The
brilliant.
next topic we have is, it was an article, PvP gear being designed to be 90% effective. We'll probably touch on this a little bit later on. I did grab, and I'm hoping some of you guys will discuss here. The quote is, we intend for PvP gear to be suboptimal, but still an option for raiding. Okay, so far so good. Your raid gear would give you about 10% higher DPS. If things work out correctly, the flip side will also be true. Your raid gear is about 90% effective in PvP. One of the things that I wanted to say about that, and we're probably going to launch into hopefully some good conversation. This is a much smaller percentage than I feel that a lot of other games have, especially for one that has, they've said we're going to have PvP stats. 10% is not a lot. If I'm a hardcore, normally if you're a hardcore PvPer, you don't have that time to also hardcore PvE. And of course, for me, that's always for my focus of progression. So when you make that 10% effective, are you really, really tuning it for that 1% fully? Or are you making it so you have to pick one or the other and then kind of dabble? Because there's no way to be optimal on both. You're not going to be able to, especially at 10%. Anyways, Anhrez, your thoughts. What do you think about 10% variation between PvP and PvE?
I think 10% is a number that means really nothing to me because we haven't seen enough to find out what 10% is. 10% of 10 is a lot. 10% of 1,000 is not, really. But my biggest concern is, we already heard Gortalk say that on occasion, some of the best in slot may be crafted. So how does crafted items augment your PvP path or PvE path based on what you're accumulating? So blank, you're an amazing PvPer, you've got 5 out of 6 slots done with your PvP piece. Maybe the next best in slot you have to get crafted. How does that fit into the numbers compared to Boom, who's 5 of 6 in raiding, who's grabbed a crafted piece and then jumps into PvP? boy, you know, I know they share numbers like this just to create articles and filler for us, but, you know, without some point of reference, it's painful. You know, I mean, you know, my spreadsheets are full of jargon, really is all they're full of right now.
The way I look at it is bigger, and for those of you who've seen the show, I apologize, you probably hear me like a broken record. What I see in 10% is the variables broken down. So let's say you stick with just one. I'm a PvPer, I have the best arena gear and kind of the best warplot gear. That instantly means even if I don't PvE, I'm 90% skill-based better, not skill-based, gear-based, have better attributes than somebody else who's just going into, let's say, a raid. That person is at a distinct disadvantage. You're able to cross-pollinate hugely, and 10% to me is a big deal, because if 10% would not be a big deal if they didn't say they were going to do PvP stats. Because normally if you have PvP stats, then the milestones like it is in Wildstar, or like in WoW where you have like your passives and things like that, you stack them up a certain way so you do more like bleed damage on a raid boss, on a monster, you know, or you take this other attribute because you reduce your damage in PvP. Right now, when I look at 10%, it makes me nervous because it has a lot of implications, but we really don't know where it's going to go until, you know, we do get some more information.
Hey, Blank, one quick question. Just one quick question for you, Blank. Do you think that the choice of 10%, at least right now, is a carrot instead of a stick to get both PvE people and PvP people into war plots until the gear settles up? Do you know what I mean? So if I've got 3 of my 8 pieces through raids, and with 40 of us, how often am I going to roll 100 to win something? And my DKP is poor management at best. So do I push myself into war plots? Do PvP people jump into war plots? Because, you know, you still got to wait for a rated match. So do you think that they're using it mainly as a kind of an incentive carrot to get us all meeting on the war plots until we can figure out gear long term?
When it comes to I feel like it's more the carrot, because one of the things, and I've said this a lot, I feel like Wildstar keeps saying, like, this is what you've experienced, this is what you're used to, we're going to put it here, and it's on a metagame level, because now, you know, I don't think I'm going to do Battlegrounds and then Arenas to then go do PvE content in World of Warcraft. With Terra, it's the same thing. They're 2 very distinct systems. Here, it's like, listen, you might be able to craft the Belt of Awesomeness. Cool. But it's not the best belt. The best belt that you can get is in PvE off this raid guy. So you have to go and look at potentially where all these things are, and then be like, maybe I have to participate in more than I'm used to. I don't... See, that's the thing. It can go one way or the other. It could just be you have to stick to one, or they're going to say the best belt you can get crafted is going to take 5 of you to craft it. And you can only get it by picking up stuff from a dungeon or a raid or whatever. The same could be for maybe even war plots. Hey, the best shoulders that you can get are crafted. I keep saying crafting because there's a lot of emphasis in this game on it. It's going to take a bunch of people. You have to put your resources together. I'm really looking forward to see more information come out. But right now, that number has huge implications, because it means it's either homogenization, which I doubt, or it's you're now going to be playing those min-maxers are going to be playing a metagame where it's like,
yeah,
crap, I only have this much amount of time, I can do this raid for 3 days, but then I know I can't get a war plot in, so I'm going to do arenas because I can get this item from there. Instead of it just being like, I'm just doing raiding forever because that's where all the best crap is. You know what I mean? There's more avenues of approach.
Makes sense.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, thoughts?
Nope.
Wonder if Blank realized JTAL is here. I don't know. Am I in trouble? Am I getting yelled at? I hope not. Anyways, all right. So we're going to move on here. A little bit of discussion there. The next one is the next is Telegraph, getting the message across in Wildstar. This was, looks like something's happening. Sorry, guys. This was another conversation about telegraphs, why they're important, and we're going to discuss it a little bit down in our actual topic section about skill cap ceiling, LAS, things like that. The next thing that we had for your weekly Telegraph was the big news, and for those of you who can go, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking about this. San Diego Comic-Con, it's being reported that 2 races are going to be revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. So, for those of you that are going, this is awesome. Have a great time. Take lots of pictures. Put them on Twitter. I hate you guys. We're all on the West Coast. I'll give you the finger, but I'm not feeling that drunk yet.
Yeah.
So it's just we get PAX East. Like,
damn West Coasters.
Like, we're gonna go to this convention or that convention, or it's either that or you gotta live in the UK. Seriously, Carbine? What? UK or California? It's not really fair. I'm just saying, a little East Coast love wouldn't hurt anybody. So again, we're looking forward to that. Should be really cool. We'll definitely be telling you about every little nitty-gritty thing that we find next week. Moving on, there was an article from RockPaperShotgun. They did a really, really long write-up. You should definitely take the time to check it out. I think Chicken got lost here. Hopefully you guys get that in the chat here in a second. My favorite quote I made sure to put on Twitter, and there's these little nuggets about these developers, whether it's Troy tweeting his phone number on accident, or it's Scooter being silly, or their vines, whatever it is. There's these little things about these developers that just make them so personable and genuine. And the quote from the Gaffer was this. RPS said, "So you're willing to make the grand statement that you've got it right with this. We have heard very similar claims from other developers in the past, and they were talking about taking the time, making sure that they put everything in, listening to the community." And his response was, "I'm comfortable making the statement that we're fucking idiots if we don't do it right." I love you, dude. Just keep doing what you do because it's awesome. Like, normally you get someone to be like, "Yes, we're gonna try very hard." No. He's like, "Let me just tell you how it is." So, my audio is messing up. I'm gonna reset my stuff. Go ahead, Nixus. Talk. Keep going.
Okay, so we just talked about rock, paper, shotgun. Next here we've got blah. Moving on to this quote right here, right?
Yep.
So the limited action set gives us freedom to say that this is a PvP or PvE only ability. Taunts don't usually work in PvP. You can do something similar where you can say that I'm going to cast a buff on you or a debuff that's going to mean that you're going to do extra damage to me and less damage to everyone else. I think it's a net win in terms of individual skill diversity, and it means that you probably want to have a set of skills for PvP and a set of skills to do PvE. We do try to make them cross over. Thoughts? Blank.
So, we're talking about things being polarized, homogenized, things like that. To me, I really like this. You have your limited action set, but there's specific ones. I like that. It's not without trying to step around this here. I was a rogue for a lot of my PvP stuff in World of Warcraft, and you only use kidney shot when you're in PvP. You rarely use that in PvE, and it was a stun. But it wasn't like necessarily, it was something that you might keep on your bar. I like the fact that they're like, you know what, you have this many skills, not like the bazillion you could have. You have this many, and we're going to make it pretty obvious that you might want these for PvP, and if you might want these for PvE. Not that they're dumbing it down, but they're like, these things are going to work better, and these are going to work better. Some people might say that I'm wrong. They might say that, they're homogenizing it, and, the only good ones are the PvP skills. I don't think it's actually that bad. Because they do mention, they do cross over. There may be those people who find those action sets that work for them. But, anyways, Anhrez, what were your thoughts on
To be honest, I see this as an extension of everything else that these guys have been throwing at us where choices matter, right? So, you have X amount of spots on your bar, choices matter. And people worry about a homogenized class. Well, it's going to take a while to figure out based on, the whole Gortok chip thing based on we're still Trinity / now we have a limited action set, for Christ's sakes. Which ones do I have on my bar and how long does it take to figure it out? I think this spins back up to the discussion we had about Packet Dancer and about the UIs. It's like when we all get in there and start clicking on these things, we're going to find out saying, well, what do we want to do and how do we want to make it better? That's when hopefully the UI and the add-on community can ride to our rescue and say, when I jump into PvP, I can click this button, and now I have my 8-bar set up really conveniently. But when I jump into PvE, now I'm ready to go. And hell, I have no idea about war plots. There's nothing that says war plots are going to use the same PvP-style skills that you're going to have see in a battlegrounds or arena. We just don't know. I mean, for all I know, I'm standing up on the wall shooting a mortar at somebody instead of trying to jump and leap at someone inside a battleground. So I think, understanding more about what the add-on group can do with us, I think is going to be really important.
I did want to make a quick mention. It looks like Packet Dancer just showed up. We did a quick little blurb about you earlier about how much we appreciate you and the community and all the stuff that you do for add-ons, and that I personally said thanks for big hearts. Thank you for helping me get accommodations for PAX Prime so I could go. So, again, thank you. Mwah! All right, Aegon, back on topic.
Well, for me, I think, having to choose, I think it's going to come out to some really interesting combinations that we're not even going to think of because of the way the skills are going to end up working together or not working together. And as I was saying earlier, I'm really hoping that, with the way UI modding is going, that we're going to have a way to quick switch our stuff when we're not in combat, so we don't have to find a place to hide and switch out our PvP skills on a quick. And hope nobody sees us before we die.
Alright, well that was from Afterlife Gaming, some good friends of ours over across the pond. So, Flying Pumpkins, you guys are a bunch of jackasses tonight. They said my heart was terrible. God.
Getting no love, Blank,
well,
no love.
Less love.
It's alright, I'll school you, Blank, don't worry.
He tried. Oh, do I get a participation award, Nixon? Thanks, pal. Thanks, buddy. That's what it feels like. So, you're going to get a link here. Somebody fished out all the disclaimers and put it on Imgur. So, you can check that out. We're going to talk a little bit about the DevSpeak. I'm going to get loaded up on a scene here. They describe targeting and aiming. For Wildstar, it is being called free-form targeting. It's interesting. Check out the video. I'm sure everybody here has. What you're going to see right now, though, is a comparison of some of the things that we saw on the video. So I'm actually looking over here too, so if he flips back and I'm like picking my nose, I apologize. What we see here is a spellslinger with guns on the left. Pew, pew, pew. And then on the right in the grass here, we see something with green lasers.
Yeah.
Green lasers, and if you see, first of all, green lasers is awesome. Techie. Secondly, those shoulders or backpack or whatever that is awesome. And I'm pretty sure you guys can see that telegraph. That is a very interesting telegraph. It's like I'm not even sure what you call it, an upside down building maybe? Anyways, so people have rumored Healy class, shoulder pack people, who knows. But we wanted to show you the distinction on the left, and then the cool looking telegraph that we found on the right.
One quick comment about those, though, is if you actually watch the video and you look really closely, you'll notice that the image on the right, so the person shooting the green lasers, is rather than shooting a gun the way you would traditionally shoot, two guns, they're basically trying to, they're holding these two things that they're trying to, stabilize, almost like they're shaking. And I've never seen a gun get shot like this. I don't know if
it's confirmed by JTal. JTal just said the one on the right is not a spell slinger, so we can, right here, Ben said, confirmed. The one on the right is not a spell slinger. So.
That is the worst warrior I have ever seen.
Man,
I guess
got
the
the
whole new meaning to
shittiest...
face tank.
Oh, man. Alright, so the next one you're going to see, their healing class. Is there another one that's coming after this? Aegon? Oh, here we go. So, pictures for you guys. We've got this guy with a gun. We got a couple shots here. One, of course, with it being fired. The second one is with the Telegraph. Rainbow gun. Great. Just what this game needs. More rainbow guns and a guy farting a unicorn. You guys remember that one? God. Yeah. This is obviously an Esper. Soldier special weapon. Yeah, everybody gets one weapon, so I'm doubting it.
But why is he wearing a life vest?
Maybe he's just that cool. He does kind of have like a hipster poof jacket. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Well, it is a Granok, and there's lots of lava around. You might be going for a dip. You never know. Maybe the guy doesn't know how to swim. Now, one quick comment I do want to make on this Telegraph, though, is you can actually see a color variation in the Telegraphs. Does that mean that basically if you center your shot, is that going to do more damage than it is on the outside of the Telegraph? Is that going to have an effect on the actual damage you're going to do with your skill, or is that just a look? Because that'd be interesting. That actually means that you need to. Go ahead.
You're not only just pretty, because that was actually really smart. Good for you. No, Kieran, you can continue. I just want to let everybody needs to know. Nixus is not only pretty, but sometimes he's smart. Okay, go ahead.
He's more than furniture.
More than a pretty face.
Oh my goodness.
Pharynx just said it might be the order that the attack comes in. The darker, the next they come. Maybe it's it shoots twice.
That's a neat thought.
Wasn't that the one where it was rainbow shit everywhere? That might be it too. Oh god. Anyways, so those were the really cool things that we grabbed out of the DevSpeak that was today. Today? I don't even know what day it is anymore. And the last thing, you're going to get a link, and we're going to get one more scene. And there was much more in depth, definitely kind of an exclusive for Gamebreaker on targeting. It's going to be a little bit what we're going to talk about tonight. And I'm definitely going to start ranting into this, and then we'll get into the topics for the show. As soon as the scene comes up, is it up, Aegon?
It's up.
Okay, I don't see it yet, but if you guys watched today, you saw this. Now I'm gonna tell you, what the F? Seriously, this is this is an actual thing. I've played games where it's you are stun locked for a while, or but no, you can't see anything. Or you guys I feel like this has got to be a troll because.
Yeah.
You can't see any. That's ridiculous.
I think it's awesome.
It's blind broke. Yeah, I can
awesome.
see that. That would be. That is the opposite. All I can think about is I'm in PvP and somebody's I'm gonna throw blind in your face, and you're I can't see anything. I can't. I'm used to being blind. My character being blind or CC'd or birds above the head, but no. You can't see anything. That's some next level sort of shit. Thank you, Wildstar.
I think it's pretty awesome.
So.
Absolutely. I mean, we're so used to little.
I would like to see confusion to make your screen spin around or something.
No,
that would be pretty awesome.
While we're at it, why don't we have the computer throw up on you when you're poisoned? Come on.
Alright, Boom, what were we gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say we're so accustomed to, a floating little icon, or next to a character profile, but it's nice to actually see some kind of effect that actually inhibits the player. behind the tune instead of just a debuff, for example.
Yeah, and that kind of gets into the ceiling. I guess we could talk. I want to talk about ceiling and telegraphs after. I guess we'll mention this quickly, and then we'll kind of talk about telegraphs. That's really the big topic for tonight is telegraphs and skills and what that means. And we'll probably get off topic because Beetle's internet died, and we had to have a special guest and Boom come on because Boom can never. If you guys don't know, Boom will never be here ever again because apparently she has tomorrow off. This is like the only episode ever. So, telegraphs. What I had here was telegraphs and 40-mans. Are there guilds that are going to be around for the challenge? And what I really wanted to focus on was experience-wise. Recently, we've seen some guilds like Condemned and Vodka and Death and Taxes. Those are SOTOR and WoW respected guilds that I've seen them on Twitter, and they've been talking about helping out and getting into the closed beta and things like that. Other than them, and of course I probably missed a shit ton, I think about this game and these guilds, they have the players with the mental fortitude. They've got the players who are willing to wake up like Condemned at like 5 in the morning when a boss comes back live to put it down and be world first. Like with these telegraphs, with the way that they're talking about bosses changing every week, is this gonna change what we look at as progression? Like they keep saying that every 5-6 weeks we're gonna see new content. What if some of the best guilds in the world aren't putting it down in 4 or 5 weeks? Like, do you just hold on to the patch? Like, there's a lot of questions there. So it looks like Aegon had something to say. Go ahead, man.
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting experience for them. First of all, we haven't seen 40-man raiding in ages, and these guilds are going to have to get back into that mindset again. I don't know too many 40-man WoW guilds that really still exist anymore, off the top of my head, since I played. It's a big mindset to get back into, commanding 40 people, especially with a boss that's going to change, whenever you fight it. It could come out with some really crazy experiences, and not being able to beat it. I think it's going to be a way for Carbine to have a little extra time for the next content to come out, because it's going to take a while to get these things down, and with them randomly changing their attacks every few weeks, who knows who's going to put it down. One guild might get an easy kill, 2 weeks later, the next guild may get an impossible combination of skills. It really depends on how they end up balancing these bosses and their skill combinations, and what they change when they do refresh them. Good, Anhrez.
I was just going to say, we know a lot about the expansion of circles, so it's going to be really interesting if we don't see the head count of 40-person guilds come in that are well structured and getting the world first. Will it be up to the close-knit 20-person or 25-person guild group that have to find another like guild? Are we going to see reverse guild splits? We're going to have 2 guilds that are really strong and they're doing all the rest of the content, and you see them forming new guilds. Instead of porting in big 40-man guilds from outside, will we see fast-moving, smart, aggressive 15, 20, and 30-man teams on Wildstar start reaching out and aggressively looking to grow by pulling in circles? So is every guild going to have a sub-circle of people we're looking to keep an eye on because we may want to poach them from somebody else's circle? Because, they've given us, it seems like, kind of an expanded way to communicate with people just outside our guild. So that's, so for a good guild, you're going to have to play offense to get good people and defense to keep your own people. So the people I see who has the hardest job here is guild leaders. Because, if you ain't happy at home, there's going to be people putting out notice saying if you're a good player, there are going to be places for you on this server.
I do want to mention, guys, that if you have questions or comments, make sure to put them in chat and we'll get to them at the end. And they can be questions for anybody that's here, Boom, Anhrez, anybody who's new tonight, of course. So, what I will say about circles and the poaching is really good. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's going to be interesting, and a lot of people over here in the chat are discussing it. You have a 40-man guild. Now, if you haven't run a guild, if you haven't run a guild where you're trying to progress and do things hardcore, you can't just have 40 hardcore people. You need to have 50, 55. You need to have substitutes. People have real lives. Even if you maintain a 90% raid attendance, shit happens. I can't make it. I had to work late. And even in the hardcore guilds I've been in, there were times where I'm like, listen, I know I've got 90%, and fuck you guys. Like, I'm not gonna get anything off this boss tonight, so have fun. You would actually strategically, peace. So like, well, we're gonna do 3 bosses tonight. Fuck it. The other thing I did want to mention, to also throw in there to you guys to think about while someone else is discussing is, what if somebody gets, let's say a raid boss down, but the mechanics make it easier? What if some other people discredit it? They're like, dude, you got the lava wave and you got the spinning blades of death. That shit's fucking easy, man. We did it with the volcano in the middle, and he turned into 10 guys. And it'll be interesting to see if people actually rank the encounters based upon how difficult the mechanics are, and then how fast they got put down. Because I think that's another thing there's been some discussion about. Week 3 is these mechanics, and this guild put it down in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and that's the world best. You know what I mean? So it's another level of potential ranking. Nixus, thoughts?
Actually, just to kind of expand on what you were just discussing, the difficulty of the mechanics, right? So when it comes to that, with the variation that we're going to see every week in those raid bosses, are they going to assign a certain rating of difficulty to each mechanic that is going to be pulled out of the pool that each boss is going to use in that week's encounter? And then is that going to have an effect on the loot that's going to drop or the achievements that you're going to get based on how difficult that boss fight is that week? That's, because for example, let's say he's using X mechanic that has been decided, is pretty easy to dodge out of, so it's going to have like a 2 out of 5 difficulty rating, and that's going to make the quality of the items that are going to be able to drop that week a little bit lower. So do you think that that's maybe something that might affect the loot pool? On top of that, let's say, to go back on the achievements, do you think that having certain mechanics in those boss fights might affect the achievements that you're getting? So if he uses, like, the giant flamethrower, and there's only, like, a 5% space that you can actually dodge out of, is that going to earn an achievement over something that gives you, like, 50%, ability to, like, dodge? You see where I'm going with that?
Yep. My response is going to be this. I'm hoping that they start, and they've mentioned it. I don't have them directly in front of me, but they've talked about, maybe having things that are harder, and they have talked about achievements. I can see it, for those of you who played World of Warcraft, being more like Ulduar, where you can go in, you can do the fight, or, you know what? You could do the shit hard mode, and you do it hard mode by, doing this. Where there's a certain mechanic that makes it harder. I don't remember the name of the boss that used to drop his balls or heart or whatever it was. That was one of those fights where you could either...
I remember that mechanic, totally.
But...
I would find that memorable. I don't know why. I find that memorable.
Oh, yeah.
You could either just let them hang down and let them go back up, or you could cut them off and then shit got real. It made the fight more difficult. I see it being like that. I think that, again, Nixus, love you, dude. I love the idea of potentially opening up a different achievement just by fighting a boss that's mechanics have changed. But I'm really hoping that, it's like you killed him with a fire bow, and it's because he had a fire bow that week, and then the next week he has like a crazy like soft enrage where he just starts flipping his shit at a certain percentage. Those things are really, really cool and may give you a different achievement. I'm also hoping that on top of that they put some sort of hardcore badass mode. But, I mean, with the way they're tuning things, they may not have to, especially if it's, it takes people time to progress. And that kind of gets back into the whole what are these guilds going to do? And of course, they're all very good at, adjusting to fights, adjusting, to mechanics. But a lot of us are used to seeing, I hope my shit didn't just break up, but we're used to seeing the same mechanics. So once you learn one, you learn the next one, you learn the timing, you learn the phases and stuff like that. So, do you guys have anything else to say about guilds in 40 minutes?
I had a quick question, and this comes from again, I was a raider many years ago, but I know that when we started going to, into, was it Kazakhstan, the ghost one. Anyway, there was that one where you jump up on the stage, and it could be one of 4 possible bosses that would appear, and therefore, based on which bosses appeared, would be, it would directly relate to the loot. And it was always interesting where the randomness of when I was running it, I was looking for a certain drop from the werewolf guy, and for 4 weeks in a row I couldn't get the roll. So I'm spending the time, I'm grinding the hours, I'm earning the DKP for a random chance of a boss that would never appear. So it'd be interesting if they, back to your guys' point, if I'm looking for a certain drop based on items where this time, instead of the firebow, the boss comes out with this big flaming sword, and that's the only chance that sword drops is when he actually uses it in the battle against the players. Boy, does that add a layer of complexity for, yes, I got world first, but I still have 5 warriors in my guild that still want to run this as often as I can, because that's the only chance they have at getting the weapon that's going to work for them.
I'm
It
just
sucks to be a guild boss, I guess. Yeah, it sucks to be a guild leader, I guess, is what I'm saying. Yes, it was Arkansas. Yeah, it was an old.
It was Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
Always the same answer.
Kazakhstan. Yeah, okay.
All right. So, for those of you who may or may not have a guild, there's a lot of them to go check out on Wildstar Central, and all of us here and myself. Take the time, look through the forums, find one that matches, the same things that you want to do, and, send an application. And there's tons of them out there. There's a lot of really reputable, awesome people, and 40 people is, that's a lot. We haven't seen that I haven't seen that in, since vanilla. It's going to be a challenge, that's for sure. What I will say is we're going to move on here to the next and last topic before we get to the questions. And I'm probably going to be one of the first people that really start talking about this, but hopefully y'all will start chiming in. Skill ceiling via telegraphs. Sometimes in a game, we're going to define this. Skill ceiling is how hard it is to play your character optimally. In a game like League of Legends, they make it pretty high because you got to have the right. They give you the champion, but then there's the items that you buy, which totally change how you act in the game, and then there's runes and masteries. In World of Warcraft and in like Terra, certain games, it's the gear reduces that skill ceiling. So the more gear that you get, the more that you can fuck up, and it's not as big of a deal. Hopefully y'all are kind of understanding where this thing lies now. One of the things that I feel is going to make Wildstar really difficult, and it relates to, these guilds trying to do these fights and whatnot with so many other moving parts, getting the people, getting them to show up, going into these bosses that change every week, is telegraphs are going to make that difficult. You've got healers that don't just heal. They've got a skill shot, aim their heals. That's ridiculous. That's not this bottom level shit. This is this next level shit. We're talking about Wildstar. When you're blind, your whole fucking screen is blind. You're blind. That sucks. And I mean, we can talk about that's exactly that. We're talking about skill ceiling no longer just being like kind of here, but where it's like we can't even see this shit. I don't think it's too difficult as long as the game is tuned correctly, but it's definitely something we wanted to discuss tonight. So. Nixus, skill ceiling, trying to get the most out of your character, telegraphs, Wildstar, go.
So one thing that I've seen a lot in these videos they've been releasing is that there's a lot of movement involved in what you're doing, right? And on top of that, you've got this skill ceiling that's raised because you do have telegraphs. You now have to aim. It's no longer about being able to tab target and then, have that memorized rotation that you're just kind of doing and falling asleep as you're doing it. So where I'm going with that basically is how movement heavy and how much attention is it really going to require from you in these fights. For example, I want to use Cube World as an example here. If you play Cube World, you'll notice, you'll notice that a lot of the bosses will actually dodge out of your attacks on a regular basis. And it requires you to actually pay attention and turn and start aiming. And it's very mobility heavy, right? So my question is, are these boss fights no longer going to be just about, min-maxing and being able to memorize that rotation and perfect that rotation? Mute him. Facts, please. Is it really going to, how dependent on your ability to move your character around, being able to aim, is someone who's good at an FPS actually going to be able to apply their skills that they've had in CS 1.6 to this game? Is that going to make a difference now? Well, there's a lot going on.
Let me jump in as somebody who's proudly killed Nixus thousands of times in Team Fortress 2. I am looking very, very forward to leveraging my elite skills with a Z in Team Fortress 2 onto an MMO. I mean, I can't imagine anything I look forward to doing is taking, hitting someone with a ham shank into such a complicated game like MMORPG. For Christ's sakes, please no. I realize maybe the FPS people will have faster reaction times. Well, hell, the lady across the street has faster reaction times than I do. That doesn't mean anything. But the concept being is hopefully that it's a blend where us old school MMORPGers will find a way to also try to be successful instead of these amazing League of Legends FPS people that, move forward, back, sideways, and still do a headshot while jumping in midair, where I'm like, wait, where's my magic missile? It's on here. Two. So that's my only hope, is that somewhere it's in the middle.
It's going to be a good blend.
What I'm hoping.
I'm excited for it, because I think it's going to require a mix of both, and it's going to be you can no longer just sit there and hit those buttons in a certain rotation. You're going to have to pay attention. You're going to be able, the speed at which you do turn your character is going to make a difference, and I'm looking forward to it, because going back to the skill ceiling, it is raising it, and it's going to require more out of everyone, and we'll see how interesting it gets with these different mechanics and stuff in the fights, and I hope that they do give bosses the abilities to let's say one thing you might have noticed in past MMOs is when, for example, you have the animation of a boss flying. Even if you're shooting in a straight line where they would be on the ground, you'll still do damage to them. Now, in this game, is that going to make a difference? Are you going to have to aim your character upwards to hit them in the air? How's that going to work?
Are you still talking about
Have we
Cube
had
World?
confirmation?
No, we're done with Chrome.
Blank, that's a question. Blank, that's a question. How they confirmed the? We know the left and right on the telegraphs. We've seen those an awful lot in the videos. Have we got the X and Y coordinate stuff going on yet? I mean, if my telegraph is straight toward, if he's 2 feet off the ground or 8 feet off the ground, am I going to hit him? Or do I need to have my pinky on some tilde key that's, angle upward? Because
They have shown in a video months ago that in PvE you may be able to jump over telegraphs. How about PvP? Question mark. But here's the thing. I doubt it. I doubt even with your double jump, you're going to be able to get a round. Dodge is a different deal. But in PvP, that wouldn't make sense to me, that somebody's shooting at you and they're just fuck you, I'm gonna jump over this, because that would be just a weird design and mechanic that doesn't make any sense. But for PvP, I can see that being one of the things that they throw at you, where it's here's, a line of lava, and you can either, stand in it and burn to death, or jump over it. But that's the only confirmation that I have. But anyway,
yeah.
What the hell was I gonna say?
Well, I haven't even gone yet.
Don't
I
talk
don't even
about
remember.
keyboard.
Oh, I was. No, that was the beginning of it. So, I did. Oh yeah, it's Aegon. Aegon's next. But all I gotta say is, Nick's just got all these brownie points tonight, being really smart, and then he fucking likened Wildstar shit with Cube World, and they all got fucking thrown in the trash.
It was one mechanic. One mechanic. And what can I say?
Nope.
I've been playing Cube World for like a week straight.
Oh my god, so
Oh,
these
no,
points are
like-
so hard. You just run in a circle, run in a circle, run in a circle, run in a circle.
No.
Run in a circle, run in a circle, run in a circle.
Don't
Maybe at
keep-
level 5.
Don't judge my strategy before I played the game.
Dude, we're
Because
like,
if I hit A and forward at the same time, that's a circle. At least it is in Team Fortress 2. Right? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it is. Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm
All right,
good at
Aegon.
it. Yeah.
I
Okay.
apologize, but I had to say it. Dude, he got all
Damn.
this like street cred, all this e cred, and he was like, "Yeah, this shit's like Cube World." Done. I stopped listening. I was like,
Ouch.
One mechanic.
Oh,
One
"All
God.
right,
Single
Aegon,
mechanic.
what'd you have to say, man?"
Well, the skill ceiling and telegraphs, and you know how hard it's going to be to play. I think what they've done with telegraphs recently is definitely going to make it somewhat of the Twitch skill will definitely be there, and definitely will most likely help, especially when it comes to the rating. But I think the biggest factor with how the telegraphs are going to work, and how attacking works, is rating's going to rely a lot heavier on exact communication and planning, or nothing's going to get done because of the way the combat's going to come down to. Especially if healers are going to be in the midst of that combat, having to heal and having to skill shot their heals, it's going to take some very good communication and planning to not wipe very easily. Go ahead, Blank.
All right, so got a request here that popped up on my phone here. People want to hear from Boom a little. So, Boom,
Yes,
you've played
yes.
Guild Wars 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, guys, don't judge her. Guys and gals, don't judge her too much. It's okay. I think we all played a little Guild Wars 2. She was like Linus. She didn't want to let go of the blankie for a really long time. But, so, did you ever play Terra?
I did, actually. I baited Terra, and I had a friend that I made in PvP in Star Wars, and he was just blown away, which a lot of you that have played with me in other games will laugh, but he was amazed how fast I picked it up and was whipping his ass in the game. But it was, I see where you're going with this. It was super movement heavy, and I loved it. It was so much better than standing in one place and just mashing a macro. Like, oh, okay. Well, let me just text, I need to move, you need a heal? Okay. Let me know.
Nice. Okay. So you're not too worried about, the skill ceiling being too high. You're not worried about telegraphs being difficult because, in Terra, it's a lot easier. I played Terra. I was like their number 2 streamer for a while. I was really excited about it. And then I saw Wildstar at PAX and I was like, yeah, fuck that game. Because it was so much more complex just from the start. So,
I'm terrified. I'm not a min-maxer. I'm not a elite gamer at all. So, but I'm excited at the same time. I don't expect to be, uber amazing, but I love the concept. I loved it in Terra, and I think it'll be made even better with telegraphs especially.
If you could move your character and actually throw out spells, you've already dominated me in PvP, and I haven't even been in the game yet. So that's a guarantee. So world ranking, you're well ahead of me, but by default, because I hear all you guys so excited about, and I can move and I don't have to tab target. I like tab target.
I run in the star shape,
It's a lazy
actually,
man's.
not a circle.
It's a lazy man's headshot. That's what's wrong with that? I guess in a small amount. I guess.
well, they described it as, what's the word here? Where am I looking? Free-form targeting. So from what we've seen, like, you've still got the things you're comfortable with, but then you also have like your own, telegraphs. When I think about that, there's just so many. This is the next point I was going to get on to, which is really cool. Like, is one of the tactics that you're going to work on is like, let's say you're a healing class lead. I have this really big heal that heals in a circle, or it heals in that little friggin' upside down house thing, or whatever the hell. And your job is to maneuver and be like, all right, 3 healers with me. We're all going to maneuver over here, and then on the count of 3, we're all going to drop our designated heal. Like, I find that, again, skill ceiling, you need to have really, really good coordination to make that happen. And then the best part is, even if you work out that coordination week 1, week 2, it might be like, oh, we're going to move over here to the west, and Dragon's got his tail and kills us all. So, it puts that skill ceiling on a totally different level. That you got to communicate. You learn. Even if you're learning as quickly as possible, it's still like, shit, this guy's different than he was last week. It makes my head hurt. Sorry, I'm totally calling the upside house Telegraph now. Thanks, J-Tal.
Yeah, called you
Boom.
out. So I will say, the biggest thing is that they're talking about, pardon me, tailoring this to the 1%. With all the talk about the telegraphs and targeted, you can't tab target. Simply put, is what it sounds like. You literally have to, similar to Terra, aim the crosshairs at your target, and that sounds like what it's going to be. Even in healing, and how is that going to change the game? I'm used to Star Wars and used to joke, and whenever Sanctuary was dropped, I would sing Circle of Life from Lion King, but it was always a dependable circle on the ground that you could run into. And now we're going to have upside down houses and Tetris blocks and stars and triangles. I mean, it's amazing.
I feel like, you guys have heard me bitch about, I don't want to see a deadly boss mods. With this sort of a game, with what they're planning to do, that shit ain't gonna fucking help you at all. It's just gonna be like, oh, in this phase, oh, fuck Telegraph, like, you're dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you were playing World of Warcraft and it was like, okay, phase this happens, I'm over here, I'm not by the tail, it was pretty quick to pick up, And even if you were in a progression guild, you were like, okay, I learned this mechanic, I know I don't go towards the front, I do these sort of things. Cool, somebody normally had a stopwatch and they would tell you, okay, all right, in 20 seconds, 10 seconds, go. I don't even think you're going to have time for that. It's going to be like, you have to know your class, you have to know, and people are going to call certain things out. Like the healing class lead is going to say, heal group 1, get in position alpha, and they're going to roll over and they're going to do their whatever heal, and the people you won't have to micromanage will be like a tank healer, things like that. But just the communication and coordination you're going to need, it's still just.
It's gonna be nuts
to think about 40 people, not 25, not those smaller happy numbers. No, 40 people. It's now becoming daunting with what they're saying, the way they want to build this game. It's becoming a daunting, scary thing where I'm like, dude, I've been badass before, but this shit's some kind of different. All right, Nixus, go ahead. I know you had a couple different things you want to throw out there.
I was just thinking about the hardcore modes and raids, and about like the different ways you could go about making them more difficult, right? So we already talked about possibly having different raid mechanics, the variations per week in just the regular raids. Now, I want to hear your feedback on this. What would you think about even going as far as affecting how big your own telegraphs are whenever you do activate like hardcore mode, which would mean that your ability to aim your skills would come more into play than just, in the regular modes. Like, rather than having, your telegraph be this big, it's reduced by like 75 or 50 or 75%. So that starts to make a difference. It's no longer about how difficult the boss gets, but how good you have to get with your own skills. And then that plays into something.
Don't be giving the devs ideas, because that's some fucking messed up shit. They're going to be like,
J-Daw's like, yep, oh yeah.
We're going to be doing some raid, and all of a sudden we're getting a worldwide debuff, it's gonna say, haha, Nixus. I'm gonna be like, fuck. Yours are 50% smaller, and they're more opaque, so you can't see them as much. Like, really awesome.
Or you just take them out completely, right? No, I'm just kidding.
JHL's going, the new Nixus system.
Oh goodness. But on top of that, it got me kind of backtracking onto like the whole debuff system, and we saw confusion caused you to like your whole screen to kind of become just this one little line. Which, by the way, whenever that happened, I was squinting to pretend to see like through what was going on there. So thanks a lot, Carbine. I'm gonna look stupid every time I get blinded in that game. I'm just gonna be like, what's going on there? So on top of that, is weakness, for example. Let's say there's a debuff called weakness. Is that going to cause your telegraphs to either get shorter or smaller or that kind of thing, or even get creative with it and have it so when you regularly have like a triangle and everything in between gets hit, well, there's a big open space in the middle and you can only hit people on the outside of your telegraph now. Like you could get pretty creative with it.
Okay, so I just put down fun speculation because this is, we don't get too wild with it, but why not? Different debuffs. I've got a fun one. Ready? What if you go to do your telegraph, and then all of a sudden it shifts 90 degrees to the other side?
So like a confusion spell
Now
or
you
something.
have to adjust around that. How do you like that shit, right? Like, you're like, I'm going to do it this way, and the debuff is like, confused sense of direction, all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck that shit, and it goes off over here. So, anyone else have an interesting, wacky, weird, whatever debuff that could be fun? They've got blind.
A sleep spell. Your character actually lays down in the middle of combat. And goes to sleep.
Wow.
Well, remember they used to get turned into a toad? So what if you got toad telegraphs? Remember back in the World of Warcraft days? You got turned into a sheep or a roused hour, and then you'd have roused hour telegraphs, which it would be automatic win, by the way.
Yep.
I think that's pretty much the GG button hit it, done.
Shout out to Josh.
So, Josh.
Oh, I like what Spring said. Drunken telegraphs. You'd see multiple telegraphs of the same thing in different directions.
Dude, that would be awesome. I would be all about that. I would probably play better. I'd be like, yeah, look at this shit. Woo! Man, Blake's DPS went up like 100 today. What the fuck?
Everything's lighting up all of a sudden.
Any other thoughts? Any other cool debuffs? I'm just sitting here thinking, like, because that's the sort of stuff that I expect from Carbine. It's not like this generic, and I don't want to say that's generic, but it's just we're used to this. We're used to this like baseline. We're gonna make you a game. We're gonna add one cool thing to it, and then that's it.
Well, like a break armor debuff. Your clothes disappear.
Oh, God. Negative rating. There you go.
But Blank, you as an experienced PvPer, I want to ask you, what would you think if what I just discussed with the hardcore modes and raids, if that was applied to the different brackets in PvP? So once you go above a certain ELO rating or whatever they decide to use, your skills are then become more limited. So it does affect the way you end up having to play and how like you have to practice more with your skills in order to be better and to keep rising up. Do you think that could be detrimental to PvP and cause people to turn away from it?
Punishing
or could make it a little bit more interesting, and there would be that constant sense of progression, right? It wouldn't just
punishing
be
low ELO. Punishing low ELO will drive people away. The majority of them.
It's not only
it
that.
It wouldn't be low ELO, right? You would start with the regular.
But you're saying if you go down though, your skills get harder to use.
Slowly reduces. Yeah.
But then if you go down, they slowly get bigger.
It's a cool idea, and for speculation, it's fun and funny. For PvE, it's definitely interesting, but PvE, no matter what, is still a scripted fight. Even if they change the script, for that week that you're in there pounding on that boss, it is the same mechanic. At 80%, he gets laser eyes. At 50%, he gets super pissed off and hits somebody for 50% of their health. Whatever it is. So it may change, which is something new we haven't seen, but it's still scripted. The problem with adding that system into PvP is so dynamic. You have people with different, setups, with different gear. They look like a healer, but they're not. Whatever it is, you can't put that, that sort of complex possibility into PvP because everything's not scripted. What the players can and can't do, how they manage their cooldowns is so dynamic that even up at a higher level, it sounds cool, but it would be more frustrating than an actual attractor because it doesn't really bring a lot to the purpose of PvPing. PvPing is based upon the decisions that you make as a team, as a player, with the strategies that you employ. Cool for PvE, very disheartening for PvP. Somebody asked some silly questions. It's going to be interesting when we get to questions. We talked about skill ceilings. We talked about telegraphs. We talked about some of the guilds that we're seeing. Again, before we move on here, anyone else have anything extra they wanted to add here before I move on?
We're good.
Okay. I did want to mention, it's a big deal with us being out in the community and loving everyone that we've met, most of you, and is that go to Wildstar Central. There's a lot of cool guilds out there. Take the time, look through the guild recruitment, and figure out what you want to do and find that guild. The reputable, really cool guys and girls that are maybe in your time zone, that are out there doing cool things for the community, that are, they're like, hey, we just want to drink beer and be loud in TeamSpeak, and that's what we do. And you're like, oh, shit, that's what I want to do too. Here's my application. Beer, sup, naked pictures, whatever it is that they do. So definitely take the time and find an organization that fits what you want and check them out. There's a lot of them out there. We don't have any of those. Looks like we're going to get ourselves down to chicken talk. This is going to be all the questions for tonight, and you guys always love to wait till the end to add more questions. For those of you who are not used to the document, scroll your ass down towards the bottom. And normally Beetle does this, so tonight it's going to be boom. Go ahead and read off the questions for the evening.
Sure, I would love to. Chicken, question for you guys. What kind of add-ons would they like to see in Wildstar? Catherine asked this. Thank you.
Oh, man, you're supposed to pass it to me. Don't you see my name? Boom, you're messing this up.
No. Oh, now I do. Love Google Docs. So, Blank, would you like to start first on this question?
What kind of add-ons would I like to see in Wildstar? I've said it before. I would really like to see, and if Hiroshi was here, he'd be bitching about it. I'd like to see that collecting add-on. I really, really, really want to know where the nodes are. I don't want to have to look around for them. I want someone else to do it for me so that I can just open up my map and it's like, here's all your resources. We already did it while you were PvPing. And then when I'm bored and just sitting there getting drunk at the end of the night, I can just, get on my flying or not flying mount because we don't know what's happening with those yet and go pick them up. All right, Nixus, how about you? What kind of an add-on would you like to see in Wildstar?
Not the one you just asked for. However, what I would like, honestly, and this is probably my favorite add-on from WoW, just a mailbox add-on. Not having to stand there, because I love working the auction house, so, I hate having to log on every morning and stand there with, 20 different, let's say 20, 40, whatever it may be, and I'm sitting there clicking collect, and it takes 15 minutes. I'd rather just open it, hit the add-on, gather all my mail, walk away, come back in 2 minutes when it's done. Quality of life, it doesn't affect anyone. If I have to go back and talk about the add-on you just asked for, yeah, let's just avoid that. Anhrez, go ahead.
So I'm kind of in between the two camps. Now I understand the value of Gatherer, but as someone who makes money off of other people not knowing where nodes are, it's actually in my interest not to allow the nodes to be successfully mapped, not to allow other people to know when the respawn rates are. and not to allow people to understand where someone else's really good gathering area is. So if Gatherer was a Phase 17 by Packetdancer, I would be extremely happy. On the other hand, there are some other things related to like the mailbox. I like the mailbox app. Any of the social RP stuff. I'm not a huge RP fan. That's just because I haven't really grouped with a group of people that I felt like doing true RP role playing stuff was right up my alley. But this may be a game because it's so much depth to it. Maybe role playing could be of interest in the game, and maybe some sort of add-on that it makes it seem a little more tangible for me. I'd sure like to give it a try. Oh, an auctioneer, right, of course, but my own version, and no one else can use it.
See, that was mine. So, what I was gonna say about the not having those things around, you are like more dedicated than other people. So who cares if they have? No, I get your point. I really do. Because if there was a mod that like explained to people how to get high rating in PvP, I'd be probably pretty pissed too. And since that's what you do. To add on to that, I wanted to say the auction house, and I'm going to go one step further, and then I'm going to go another step further. The shit's getting crazy up in here. I would like to see some of the potential information that we see on the game on my phone. And so I'd like, and I know a lot of people are going to get pissed, and I can't wait to read my email tomorrow from Wildstar Central, but I want to be able to do the auction house potentially on my phone, or see if shit's sold. And if not, there's always the workaround. There's always those programs where you can log in your computer and do them from your phone and shit like that.
Yeah, RDP.
I'd like to see I'd like to see the possibility of that. But my biggest thing on that is the auction house mod. You guys need to reset your stuff, and I will do the next question. So, actually, Nix, let's go ahead and you talk while we reset our stuff.
I just saw JTAL say recount 2 in chat. I don't know if he was responding to someone, if he was insisting that should be in game, but no, please no. Because we've just finished talking about how mobility is going to be an important part of fights from what we're seeing, right? And I do not need somebody staring at their numbers on the bottom right of their screen when they need to be paying attention to the telegraph that they're standing in. So please no recount.
Well, I'm going to jump on the recount thing. First of all, I'm going to say what every good raid officer or GM should say, and nobody gives a fuck about your numbers unless the boss is down. So turn the fucking thing off, hide it in the background. Literally, nobody cares unless the boss is down. I don't give a fuck if you're doing 10,000 DPS. It does not matter unless the boss is dead. There's kind of when you have it, it's nice because it shows you where people are at, and it's kind of a way to judge how people are doing in their rotation. But I liked, there was a website where you could take the data and put it up, and that's what I like, the Warcraft logs, because then I could look and be like, well, Boom did 20,000 DPS, and that's the highest out of everybody. However, she was a retard, and she stood in fire the whole time, and our healers had to heal her like crazy. I like being able to look through that as a guild leader and be like, we need to change this, because I'll take you doing a little less damage and making it easier on our healers. I liked that, and I definitely could see Wildstar having that sort of a system set up. But recount in itself, to me, is just a detractor. Yeah, it's cool. It's nice in the game to look at, and maybe like if you're by yourself trying to figure out your rotations, like, oh, I squeezed out an extra 50 DPS doing this, or I got an extra doing this instead of that. That's cool. But in general, I don't need 40 people looking at their fucking recount and being like, oh, I generated this much threat. Dude, it doesn't matter. The big boss came over and stomped on, Aegon's ass, and he's dead, and now we've got to wipe this whole thing.
At least make it so you can't view those numbers in game, or while in combat. Like, when you engage combat, have it pop up with a picture that says currently in combat, and you're not able to view your results until after the fight. Put a timestamp on, like, a graph that you get so that you can actually see when you were doing the most damage and that kind of thing, but do not let people see recount during combat.
I just want to see it logged out. I just want to see it seriously logged out. I just want to be like, turn on Addon, it collects all the shit, and then instead of putting it on Excel, but if it did that'd be even awesomer, sends it to a website. Hey, somebody, one of you nerdy guys out there wants to make a website, make wildstarlogs.com. Someone's going to go do that shit right now, I guarantee it. wildstarlogs.com, and then you can put all your combat data on there and be able to look at healing, damage taken, from what mob, from this or from that. I guarantee it. But anyways, just a cool idea. Go ahead, Boom. Please continue with this guy with the green name, which is difficult as hell to see.
What?
Okay, stop. We know you're surfing internet porn or something. Go to number 2 on the list.
Oh, shit. Should I wait till after this is over?
You should probably wait till we're done streaming.
So, pardon me, guys. Hold on, let me pause this. Screw Up asked, is the naming system in Wildstar the same as Guild Wars 2?
Is the naming system in Wildstar?
Blank. Reply.
Well, I put my name there. You're supposed to be like, blank space. What do you think about this topic? God. Shit, listen, it's her first time, guys. Not a big deal. The naming system in Wildstar, I'm not going to remember his name, and I don't think he's in chat. They wrote a couple of articles about their naming system and how they're working on things, but I don't believe it's the same as Guild Wars 2 because of the way that their proprietary engine, nerdy, blah, 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 I don't really understand, but no, it is not the same. So, maybe we may be able to get you some information on that, but I know that it is not the same currently when they put those articles out over a month or so ago. Anhrez.
When this topic comes up, I always think back to an original question we had, actually I think one of your guys' first or second episodes, where someone asked, or at least brought up the question, I hope they allow numbers in names, because if you have a robot race, sure, I don't want to be R2-D2 as a Makari, because please head shoot me a lot if I am, but it's not an unforeseen concept to have alphanumeric numbers as part of a Makari style environment. So it'd be interesting. We don't know. At least I don't know. There's probably somebody who knows. But I'm just curious if alphanumeric's going to go, because sure it doesn't work in WoW, as in from a lore standpoint, but I think it would work in lore for Makari.
I think that it's still a server deal right now, from what I remember. So the naming system, it might be one of those lame Wildstar Wednesdays we get in the future, but they did discuss it a few weeks ago, and it is not the same as Guild Wars 2 currently. So, go ahead, Boom, please. Next question.
Okay, so Zilva78 said, what will each of the hosts do on a looking for group cross-realm or server only? Blank. Thank you for typing.
You're welcome.
Smooth.
Would you like to speak on this?
That was really smooth.
Because I'm the hardcore progression, if I can get, because I'm looking for group early on, if I've got 5 members of my guild that are able to do whatever is the beginning, dungeons at Elder Game, it will probably be server only in that aspect. However, if we're farming things later on, it may be cross-realm depending on the situation. But for me, the variable is pretty much stacked to which is going to get me to my objective quicker and faster. So if I'm, leveling up an alt or something, more than likely it'll be cross-realm. And if it's internal farming for things, it'll be server only within the organizations and circles that I know. Nixus?
I think I'm going to stick to just realm only, not cross-realm. Multiple factors kind of tie into that. One, I had the worst experience when it came to cross-realm with WoW. For example, I joined groups, people would be leaving because they didn't care and they didn't know who we were, and it didn't matter because their reputation wouldn't matter on that server. So, the way you behave whenever you're stuck to a single realm and all the people, because it is limited to, a certain number of people. So, like, everyone eventually, after a little bit of time, gets to know who's who. And if you're that guy who's always leaving those instances mid-raid, people aren't gonna want to be around you, right? So there's that plays into it. And there's also the part where, I tend to be, even if it gets annoying, I tend to talk a lot when I'm in game. So I'll sit there and I'll do, a bunch of emotes and I'll be talking and laughing. And some people, whenever they're like farming, like you were just saying, they don't really care about getting to know who they're running instances with. They just want to get it over with and get their item. And I'm less about that and more about like the experience in and of itself, rather than just the item that I'm going to come out of the instance with. So it's really just about the type of player that you are. Blank obviously doesn't care, but that's what I'm looking for. So just no cross realm. None of that.
Aegon?
Well, for me, the way I usually play it is it's going to try to find people from my guild or my circles first. Not even going to bother with looking for group system if I don't have to use it. If I can't get those people, then I'll resort to looking for group. If I'm falling behind everybody level-wise and I can't get anybody in their direction, I may go cross realms if I'm just farming for stuff, but that's going to be very, very rare because I prefer to actually group with people on my server, getting to know them and, building better communications, with other people on the server.
I'm just going to add here, I feel like this is one of those things like Poppy finds out about and has like a little happy moment at Carbine. Like, this may be the first game where I actually will do server only and try to find people on my server just because of the community aspect of it. And it may not be every time, but if I'm doing like an alt run because I'm looking for a chip or some boots or something stupid or crafting material, and it's not like, it's the middle of the day, it's before I gotta go to the doctors or something, I could see myself saying, fuck it, I'll wait in a queue for 30 minutes, or I'll ask on my server because of that server community pride. And I've never really had that, even as a progressive hardcore raider in other guilds. Like, I've never been like, I've had people be like, oh, that guy's really cool gear, but I was like, I don't give a shit, fuck you. In this game, it's totally different, where I'm like, you know what, I don't mind waiting for 30 minutes to hang out with people on my server, because, hopefully we know who they are, we know the guilds, I really feel like that is a possibility with where this community is going. So, anyways, Boom, would you please discuss question number 5 with us?
So, Julius, I have a question. Did they vote for Scooter for CM of the Year?
Of course we did.
Of course we did.
Pretty easy to vote. Follow a link.
Shit earlier, Blank. Okay.
Listen, there's a small delay. It's called the internet, and normally I'm gonna be the first motherfucker to respond. So just be like, "Did they blank?" and you'll be fine. I just realized we're right next to each other on the screen. Hold on. Let's see which way. It is that way. Hi, Boom. Anyways, yes, we got a link for you. Chicken. See, J-Tal said it, and I'm not. I need to stay. J-Tal said it. I'm not gonna say what he said, but that's how I feel also, because I have favorites. I have favorites within my own family. I'm like, I like this nephew more than this one because they suck. My sisters are like, cut it out. I'm like, what? So, yes, I definitely agree. But yes, we all did vote. And Chicken, go find the link for them again and put it in there for those who may not have seen it. Because no matter what, it's still somebody from our developer community who got recommended for an award. So let's, go support them. Go for it, Miss Boom, with question number 6.
Okay, thank you. So, Panda Kid 1011, what do you guys think of the Esper class? Blank, take it away.
Oh,
Nice.
are they the ones with the farting unicorn? Because that's all that really seriously sticks in my head. Is
So that's your class.
The farting unicorn, whatever deal. So, yeah, what do I think about them? They look interesting. They're the ones who are kind of like the magic class. It looks cool, except for the farting deer thing. I can't get over that. But anyways, Nixus, how about you?
It's cool. It's cool. I know you can notice in some of those videos you see like a bird flying out of them in America. So yeah, that's cool.
It's a
Can
rainbow.
I just say that if you add Orin to the Esper class, it's just too much. Okay, I mean it's rainbows and birds and bunny rabbits, and I feel like pretty soon some music's gonna come on and that donkey from Shrek is gonna make an appearance or something. I mean, some Pixar movie's gonna start. I mean, it's just too much. So maybe they should actually have class restrictions where only ugly characters can be Espers or something.
That needs to be a circle in this game, like ugly Espers or some shit like that. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Boom.
My turn again. Panda Kid 1011 also asked, what classes do you think the 2 hidden classes are? Anhrez, would you like to speak?
Yeah, it's just, I feel like I learned more about what could be out there through what happened this last week than the previous weeks before. I mean, they dropped down something in front of them. Again, I hate to use my Team Fortress references, but there's a class there at Team Fortress besides the Spy I just don't play, and that's that's that guy that drops down stuff or carries turrets and stuff like that. So in Guild Wars 2, I played kind of an engineer class where you drop down turrets and it had a bunch of stuff, and it was a complicated class to play in a group, but it was really fun to play solo. So I mean, that looked interesting. And then the other one, I don't know. We're still waiting for something that I guess some sort of other clothy class, maybe. I don't know. I don't know about the other one.
They've been hinting at it a lot in these videos, and I'm thinking the last class might be Slayer of Roused Hours, a Soar.
No. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
I heard the class they're going to reveal in San Diego is actually the Roused Hour class. It's going to be a race. Actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Roused Hour. Awesome.
Keep moving, Boom.
Blake's
You gotta keep moving. You gotta keep the conversation moving forward. The next question, you read it off, and then we talk about it. Just anytime.
Sure. Wait.
That's how this works.
Will you let me do that now?
Nice.
Yes,
Okay.
I will let you do it now.
Okay.
I'll do a little thumbs up every
So-
time we're ready to move on.
The Dualius. What's the purpose in having so many telegraphs in the picture on the right? The dead space between them doesn't look like it can be used to avoid damage. Hey, Blank! Please.
You're doing so well. You're doing so well. I believe one of the things that Nixus mentioned was its potential for maximum damage in the middle, less damage on the outside. So those little mini telegraphs probably could be that. And for the upside down house, who knows? Like, that's one of the things that's still tripping me out is like these flipping telegraphs. It's like, okay, we've seen like a cone, we've seen like the lines, and now they're like, we're just gonna do random shit. Let's geometry. What's the word I want? That's not the word I want.
No, that was right.
No, is that the right
geometry.
That's the word you want.
If
Yeah,
you're talking
I'll
about
go with
circles,
that.
squares, and triangles, yes.
word? They're just like, we're just gonna pick random shit out here. No, here we go. Boom, boom.
What?
So yeah, that's it. It is calculus. That's what it is. Actually, it was calculus. But yeah, they're just like, we're just gonna pick different telegraphs, and to me, that's just you're going from little cones and lines and things you're used to seeing to upside down houses and shit. So, anyways, go ahead, Boom.
Pharynx 007. What is the breakdown of tanks' heals for a 40-man? I've never done one. Hey, Anhrez. How about you speak this time?
Oh wow! Wow, it's changing it up. It's funny. For my main experience was Vanilla WoW, and it really shifted. early on, it was very 4-set healers, maybe a 5th healer based on, who's primary tank. But as the team got better and a little overpowered, you could drop healers, and people were bringing in even weaker alts and never having to ramp back up. So I think with some hybrid classes that we're going to see, I think you may have dedicated healers and specific boss or even specific Telegraph instant style healers where, like Nixus had said, boom, the room's covered. Or Zap actually had a great comment in chat saying, well, the room's covered except for this pie slice, but the previous mechanic had everyone across the room. 50% is going to make it to the pie slice. The hope is there's someone in that leftover that can drop an AoE heal, limp through the fact that you couldn't hit that big Telegraph need. And, so it'll be interesting what the off healing requirements will be for raiding. I just don't know. Aegon, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's
nice.
It's really hard to really break that down until we see the actual fights, because really you determine your tanks and your healers by what your healers are going to have to defend. I mean, you could have like a fight in WoW could easily need 1 tank or 6, all depending on what boss you're on at the time. So it's really hard to determine that until we actually see the makeups of the fights.
It's still a lopsided card. I'm not sure how now that happened.
Yeah.
Y'all are a bunch of assholes. That's what I'm going to say. Liz, it's bullshit.
So,
did you guys answer that? You
Well,
guys answered the whole breakdown, whatever?
We did, but if you want to drop in.
would you like to speak?
Jesus.
I mean,
Four tanks. I can't even math right now. 4 tanks. It's gonna depend on the. I will definitely say you're gonna need 4 tanks because of the way that you can switch your shit out and whatnot. I can see you having potential single target or multi-target tanks. You're not gonna need 1 or 2. I'm definitely gonna say 4, 3 to 4, and normally 8 healers. That's 12. So however many more friggin' DPS is that? Blank counts the potato. I count the pumpkin tonight. Y'all are a bunch of assholes. But yeah, 4 tanks. Normally you have 3 times, 4 times as many healers as that, and the rest DPS. Depends on the fight mechanics. You might see people that, and this is the cool thing, you might see people that go into a fight and they're rocking their healing gear, and the next fight you got to switch them out and they're wearing their DPS gear. So I definitely am going to stick with 4 tanks though, for sure. That's going to and I think that's one of the cool things about being a tank in this game. You're going to have a job to do. Like, you're not going to collect other crap. You know how, like, in World of Warcraft towards, I want to say BC Wrath and in Kata, like, you started walking around with DPS gear because there were fights where you weren't needed and you didn't want to sit out. So I could definitely see that being like, you're going to need 4 tanks. That's just the way it is, no matter what. And anyways, go ahead. Y'all are a bunch of dickheads.
okay. Where was I? Yes, thank you. Dualius. Did I get that right this time? I know you're watching.
Nope.
Thank you. Question for Anhrez. How much control should players be given over the economy? And should the auction house be server-wide or game-wide or even faction-wide?
Wow. First of all, there's no dev in their right mind would listen to what I think the economy should be, because I would make it in a format that I would win. I mean, that's the easiest way. But I think the more, it's a 1% game. We keep hearing 1%, 1%, and I think that I think and I hope that mentality is brought forward to some of the crafting aspects. I hope that we have a seat at the table to create gear, not best in slot, but necessarily effective in slot, transitional pieces that allow people to get in, to get their feet wet for 40-man raids, so you're not a target dummy for someone in war plots, and then you can maybe augment that with stuff that you pick up. I also think from an auction house, server-wide, game-wide, I guess I'm old school. I think a server-wide auction house makes reasonable sense based on population. If you had to cluster it, but, in my opinion, the moment you cluster, you're pretty much saying that I'm not staffing enough people on this server to create a reasonable economy based on the server. So I would hope that a server-based economy is robust enough, and I think that comes back to making sure crafters and making sure that we all have a seat at the table to keep money flowing in and out of the game. And I'm not a huge faction-wide. I wouldn't mind a neutral auction house. Way back in the day, I used to use neutral auction houses as a great way to move money from one side of my faction characters to my other side of the faction characters before they stopped that. So it was a great way to illegally move money between factions, and a few of us really like that. So I'm sure devs don't like that, but we can always hope that they put it in anyway. So
I have this to say: if they have neutral, they're expecting you to move things around. There may be like people who use them for ill gains, like gold sellers and shit like that. But if we learned anything from games with real money auction houses, or games that allowed a entire game auction house, not going to mention names on those two, it's that those systems are fucking terrible. In the first one, it was those who were the 1%ers had literally all the money, who were able to farm up crap, and it just, server is nice, whole game is just dumb. I don't know, I'm not good at economy stuff, but when I think about this sounds like a good idea, looking at it as a system, that sounds like a terrible idea. Especially because, you might be able to put work orders and all this other sort of crap in, but in the end, those who are econ PvPers like Anhrez and myself, not even as close to much as him, will find those places that you can exploit and exploit them until everyone else tries to, and at that point the market's so dried up it doesn't matter. So server-wide, neutral's cool. Nixus, thoughts?
I mean, I think I definitely don't want it to be game-wide. Definitely not. It was the first thing I complained about when I played, a game that came out recently. I was just like, I definitely don't want server-wide, game-wide, right? However, what I do like about how dynamic it gets whenever you're just limiting it to one server is you've got, like, those people that are the go-to people for certain things. So I just think that's more interesting because you're just like, if I know that this guy farms this thing all day, so if I need it, I can just go straight to him. And it makes it a lot more, it just makes it a lot more interesting, in my opinion. And also, if you think back, like, really rare items, like whenever you played WoW, if you knew about things like, the Dragonling Pet in the Wetlands or the Orb of Deception, like, there were those specific people that would be out there farming them all day. And when they finally dropped and you went and put it on the auction house, you were like, I am the one who farmed this and put it on the auction house for my server. Like, and if you do that with game-wide, there's going to be a bunch of people who have it, so it's not even going to be that special anymore. So it does add a certain level of value to those rare items that drop in the game, because there's a lot less of them available on that one server, right?
See, I don't do, and I think, Anhrez, you asked for an article back in the day, and I kind of exposed my hand a little. I don't do big risk, long wait. I do microtransactions, and when I was playing Terra, I showed this. A bunch of people donated to my PayPal. Thank you, by the way. And I explained how to do microtransactions, and you don't think it's a big deal, but when you're buying literally thousands of items and turning them over for 50 silver, a gold a piece, and you've got 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 of them, and you're making these very small increments, it's very easy to do. There's no overhead. And if there isn't a way to negate that, because with Terra you could buy the Elite package and then you didn't pay any AH fees, you made a shit ton of money by just turning things over and over and over. So I don't do the Orb of Deception. I sell 50,000 fucking fish, and I buy Nixus's Orb of Deception that, you know, he took forever, and all those fish, it only took me, you know, a day or two, where for him, it may have meant he farmed for, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to get. For both of us, it seems worth it, but for me, I like microtransactions because it's so much quicker. It may not be that, oh, I'm waiting for, you know, my 500 gold to come through, but I get to see those little tiny increments, and it's like, I just open up all my mail, and now I'm 3,000 gold richer. Nixus?
Can I just say real quick that you're both right. It's important to diversify. You know, don't just buy Apple, buy everything, and if you're doing both of those type of strategies, you're going to get richer faster. So,
I don't know. I'm just to end on this topic here. One of the things that I love doing personally is bargaining, and it's really hard to bargain with someone when they're like across a different server and you have no clue who they are or, you know, how to contact them other than like possibly through a forum or making an alt on like one of their servers in order to contact them. When it's server limited, you can message that person. You can be like, listen, you know, if you're farming X item, I need a bunch of them. Let's make a deal. And it just adds this whole metagame to trading. That makes it a lot more interesting, in my opinion, than just going to an auction house, pressing a button on how many you want, and taking it. Like, I get that there's the whole microtransaction, making the margins over the long run, but that I love interaction because that's you know, it's what I'm looking for in an MMO. I love video games, and I also love talking to people. So rather than looking at a UI, I'd love to be in a chat going, listen, I'll give you X amount for this amount. It just makes it more interesting.
They had a system like that in Terra, which is what made microtransactions so awesome, where somebody could put it up for 50 gold, and then you could you know, be like, hey, I'll give you 45 per. And then, like, you could talk to them and be like, hey, it would show you if they were online or not. And you could be like, hey, I'm looking to buy your whole stock. Like, you know, what do you want to sell for? So I definitely am going to agree with you. I'd love to see something like that. Maybe one of these UI people could set it up, or maybe internally they could do it where you go to the auction house and it's like, they're selling it for 50 gold a piece. I'm willing to spend 45. You send them, you know, the request, it pops up, they deny it. So you send them a whisper and say, hey, dude, where's your price? What do you want? That gives you your social interaction and gives me my microtransaction of 2 gold a piece when I sell them at 49. People think they're getting a gold off. I'm making 2 gold a pop. Life is good everywhere. Question 11, Boom, if you don't mind.
And I got to talk to blank space.
So I guess we're moving along, are we? Pharynx 007 asked, didn't the devs say that there weren't going to be internal tracking of world firsts? Blank.
Yes.
Would you like to start?
This is a quick one. The answer is they said there isn't going to be internal tracking, so it's going to be one of those YouTube, you know, streamed, whatever it is. So that's the answer. You're going to see proof in the YouTube videos, in the timestamps, stuff like that. And again, this is one of those websites somebody eventually is going to make where they track that sort of stuff and can validate it. Yeah, go ahead. Next question.
So Kethram asked, Anhrez, how do you feel about crafters being able to make PvP or PvE Elden gear? Should the items be comparable to raid or PvP gear drops? Or should they be entry level for PvP or raiding?
Again, no dev in their right mind is going to listen to only my opinion on this, because I would put the crafters as pivotal to doing anything on the server, which doesn't make sense for the rest of them. You know, I don't think any class or any subset should be a pinch point for things to get done on the server, but I do like the fact that crafters could be part of that starting tier, that, you know, that intro to raiding, that intro to high-end war plots, something like that, and give us one or two. I mean, hell, how many slots do you have to wear? 8, 9 slots? We don't really know. At least I don't know. But give us one or two that's maybe it is best or almost best in slot, or at least give us the ability to create an item which can then be pulled the power core or a chip out of, which then gives us a chance for a slot, because that's going to create a need for high-end guilds, medium-sized circles, and aggressive solo players all the reach out to crafters, and then that comes back to the question we had before is, well, what type of server auction house should we have? If you need something and that can be found by someone on your server, we don't need a game-wide auction house. We need a server-specific auction house to allow transactions to happen. So, but yeah, I'm hoping that we can make both PvP and PvE gear of some relevance. Again, I wish everything that was found, I wish no gear was found off of bosses, only parts, and we had to bring those back to crafters. But again, this isn't called Craftstar, it's called Wildstar. So I realized that, there's got to be something for the people who actually spend all those times in the bosses doing something instead of just us. So, yeah.
Anyone else have anything to chime
Anyone
in?
else?
Or
Nope. Next question.
Panda Kid 1011. What do you think happened to the Eldon? Blank.
We talked about this in a previous episode. We don't know, but there is some overtones that something bad may have happened to them. Dun dun dun! So that's all we know. And I'm not the lore hound. Shut up, Kath. That's some all bullshit. Next question. Lore hound.
So we're moving along. Fish FPS. So in Wildstar, is the camera tied to the mouse like Terra? Or is there a cursor and free cam like World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2? Blank.
Right now, if you look at the Gamebreaker TV DevSpeak on targeting, they got kind of an exclusive. One of the beta testers created an auto hotkey script that enabled players to play the game as a full mouse look game. They are currently experimenting with the ability to toggle on and off mouse look. Excuse me. This sounds similar to the design of Terra or Smite, where you aim with your mouse. There's no safe it'll make it on a launch, blah, 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 blah. So, right now, it's one of those things like flying mounts. It's potentially there, but more feedback from, those who are in the beta and in the forums and things like that will definitely tell them where they go from there. Oh my goodness, Boom.
Oh, I got nothing.
God, you're so bad at this.
I forgot to do the thumbs up.
As pretty as you are, Nixus, I'm not always gazing at your face.
Oh.
Fax machine. Question. Should they add a split raid mechanic where the 20 or 40-man raid has to split into groups and do their own mechanics for the week? Blank.
I'm not really sure what he means, a split raid mechanic.
So, like, enter the raid, 20 people go this way, 20 people go that way? Like Portal 2 multiplayer
if you
style?
think about it, what if the boss fight comes up to if you have to clear a certain amount of trash, but once one set's engaged, maybe their circle of engagement is so big, if you don't kill both at the same time. Remember, what was the one with the trolls in Stranglethorn Valley, where you had to kill all of them at the same time, or the boss would reset, would recharge? So you actually had to have two different groups attacking.
Zolgarab.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's some mechanics out there historically, and we're looking at some older World of Warcraft coders here. It'd be interesting to see if they had some sort of balanced kill, or if you don't kill them within a couple of seconds of each other or within range of each other, one will respawn. That would be crazy.
Blank rage meter. You ready for this? Y'all set us up with some bullshit that's like fucking Four Horsemen. I'm done. Struggle forever. There are things I don't mind fighting, but that just please. Those sort of mechanics where you take a raid where you're supposed to like coordinate and all this other shit and you break it down into these tiny little elements. 20 people I don't mind. Breaking it into 15 and whatever. When I think about those sort of fights that are so difficult because you have so much going on and you have to coordinate between so many people and then on the micro and then macro levels, I'll cry. I'll be crying on my stream. People will be like, oh, they're doing the boss attempt. Because that stuff sucks. Anyways, go ahead. Next question.
J-Tel, can you make that happen? I really want to see that, actually.
No, I don't, like,
Just saying.
listen, I think he's in charge of items. He's not in charge of boss fights, so I'm good. Unless they're, like, hiding. They're like, we're not going to log in, we're just going to laugh. But that just, I think about that, and it makes me cry. Like,
You know,
I don't
but,
mind being
you know,
split into, like, little groups as part of the mechanics and stuff like that. But when it's just, you got telegraphs, you're communicating, so say you've got 4 groups of 10 people doing their different deal. It's just, I know what listen, Fax is saying the game is for the 1%. You're right. But that, when you break it down like that, and then you have the level of complexity, we're not talking about World of Warcraft. We're not talking about World of Warcraft plus Terra. We're talking about Wildstar, which is fucking, like I said, somewhere up here. That makes my, like, I'm glad I'm doing the PvP side, not the PvE side, because that shit would make my head explode, being like, okay, I need to get the healer set up, I gotta have this set up, I need a tanky and an off tank for all 4. It just, no thank you, I'm done. Next question. I'm done.
Fairing 007 asks, what do you guys think about hitboxes?
Ow.
Should they be normalized or based on body size? If they aren't normalized, will all pro PvPers be redacted?
Mute your mics real quick. That feedback's terrible.
How about now?
I'd actually have to look at that. You sounded better, Boom, by the way. I don't know about the normal. I don't know if their size changes their hitboxes and their telegraphs. Maybe somebody in chat will be nice and let us know.
But hey, Blank,
do you think?
Sorry, Blank. Do you think when you look at the hitboxes, since it's not a height, but it's a width or footprint, do you think that based, is it just how much they displace the width of their step for where they will land to avoid telegraphs? Is that the issue?
Well, the problem is in a game like, guys, reset your stuff. Reset your business while I talk. In Terra, everybody played like these small little bastards because they were harder to see, and normally that's why people play like the Gnome Warriors and things like that. I like to see them normalized, to be honest, especially in a game like this, where the telegraphs matter. I don't want them to be based on a body size, because then what you see is the hardcore PvPers who are all little tiny midgets, because it gives them the best advantage, and I don't want to see that. Just my thoughts. Nixus?
What excuse am I supposed to use now whenever I play a female character? I cannot resort to the I'm staring at a butt all day excuse. Like, my main excuse is that I like PvP with small hitboxes. I have to come up with something new now.
I've always said I play female characters because you're going to spend hours looking at this. I'd rather look at a nice bum than some dude. Unless, like, there's some really cool armor set, and then they offer you the chance to, like, gender change. Then you can be a badass-looking dude with really big armor, but, whatever. I digress. Any other comments on normalized telegraphs, PvPers being redacted, etc., etc.? What's wrong with staring at a nice ass? This is true. We've got our random questions. I'm going to do these because Boom is, very busy. God knows doing what. So, Nixus, what are you drinking?
Going
Nixus,
easy
what
tonight.
are you drinking?
Was drinking some Corona. Sponsor, just kidding. Not really. Just going for some Corona this evening.
Yeah.
All right. Mission Nexus, Chrissy wants to know, so, Anhrez, when are we getting some more coffee?
Well, that's a good question. I roast up a lot, so I'll see what I can do. We'll see what we can do.
You're there first. See what he can do. Panda Kid 101, 1010101, got a question for that dude. Anhrez, who the fuck are you, dude? That's what Panda Kid wants to know, Anhrez.
Yeah, that's, well, I mean, I could go the fortune cookie route, but I'm a aging gamer who doesn't first-person shooter much, but realize that if I'm really rich in game, I can make better players do stuff I want them to do. So I try to be really rich in game, so I can have, I can easy mode it. I believe playing a game is easy mode when you're very wealthy in game, and it's its own sub mini game by doing it. So it's kind of fun. Nothing wrong with bringing in a little math in. Math is your friend for MMORPGs. So I have a website and I write articles for a couple of places, and I just like to follow Wildstar, and I'm also a member of the SVG Guild.
Man, who are those guys? Sound like a bunch of jerks. Anyways, so Duelist wants to know, does Nix's mic work this week? I missed the intros. The answer is yes. He figured out that if you plug in that pink thing that has the picture of the microphone into the back of your computer that has another pink thing, it makes it work. It's crazy. So yes.
I didn't actually realize that you didn't just plug it in here and that there was another end to it. I figured it out, though. It wasn't too complicated. Just took a little bit of turning those gears up there. And I also speak French to it on a regular basis, so it starts to cooperate.
That works.
Goodness. Panda Kid 101 says, questions, would you guys like to be in a guild with me? We some of us here may already be in an organization, which if you go to Wildstar Central, you may or may not be able to find out which it is. But if that guild fits you, I would definitely apply. Just saying, this is the way it is. Katernaya Nas wants to ask Blank, what beer are you drinking? I am also drinking Corona Light, and it's left over from the 4th. For all you giving me shit, listen, sometimes you gotta drink what's in the in the fridge. Panda Kid 101 wants to know, how old are you guys? So I will answer. I'm 30 years old. Go ahead, Aegon. How old are you, buddy?
Too old. I'll be 37 very soon.
Yeah. Anhrez.
I'm the same age as Jennifer Lopez, so you can get on the internet and look up on your own, but I have too much pride to say it out loud. So there you go.
Whatever. Nixus.
Take a wild guess. 22.
16.
Yeah, there you go.
22.
I like to pretend I'm 22.
And boom, ASL.
I am 14 female China.
No,
I'm 26.
26. There you go. There are the answers to your questions.
That makes me
and the last one,
pretty much
such a
older
baby.
enough than two of you put together. That's nice. That's great. Thanks.
Listen, let me explain something. You're only as old as you feel, all right? That's all I'm going to say.
Here we go.
Anyways,
good to know.
Last question. What are all of your opinions of Sharknado? For those of you who don't know, oh goodness, who was it? Was it John Wiseman who posted about Sharknado? It's ridiculous, and I think I saw, what's her name? Tara Reid in there. She's my favorite, C-class actress. I'm not even going to start in. Anyways, so what were my opinions? It looks ridiculous. I'm not going to get in trouble tonight. Haha. So, and there was...
Can this be a mob in-game?
Sharknado. Can this be a boss fight in-game? Sharknado. Look out for the flying sharks.
Wow.
Yep. If you guys didn't see it, it's ridiculous. Go to Twitter. Just do the whole hashtag Wildstar. Look to see something ridiculous like Sharknado in there. Rouse NATO. Oh my god. Great. Awesome.
Yes.
Flying. And if it really is him, I hope they make them black ones, because that would be even better, because he's the black Rouse NATO. Anyways, we do have a shout out here. Can we get that? It's going to be put in the chat. Will Wheaton tweeted about it. That guy. Does anyone know who that guy is? Who's Will Wheaton? Whatever. We have a shout out for Zilvis did some artwork, which I haven't actually even seen yet here. I'm gonna go look at it right now, so we can tell you what we're gonna look at here. Copy. But we're doing a little shout out because this Zilvis guy is pretty cool. Oh, what is this? Everybody's so addicted with these damn sheet things. Anyways. So, very ridiculous. That is what we have for the news, the topics for discussion, and all that. Scroll back up here. We really don't have a lot of shout-outs to do. As always, check us all out on Twitter. We do have the Facebook. Make sure to follow this Twitch channel. We do this, unless it's the 4th of July, we do this at the same time every week on Thursday. We've strategically planned it around having, Wildstar Wednesday. Make sure you go and vote for David Bass. You had the link earlier. We'll give it to you again. You'll see it on YouTube. We support our Wildstar homies, and he's a big part of, the Carbine dev team. And he may not be the coolest cat around, but you should definitely go vote for him anyways. I want to say a big thanks to Anhrez, who runs his own little blog, Settler in Exile. He's, in my opinion, the best econ PvP, or at least the most well-known in Wildstar right now.
Yup.
So I want to say thank you for showing up. And before we turn off here, Anhrez, do you want to plug your tweets and your Twitter and your blog and all that? Go ahead.
I'm on Twitter at Anhrez, but get out to Wildstar fans. For some reason, Airwolf has not decided to cancel the weekly Wildbucks blog there that comes out usually Mondays or Tuesdays. I really think he's just too busy at work and he hasn't found anything better to post. But we love comments. We'd love to get more people talking about what you want the economy to be. What are good ideas? Hey, what are bad ideas? We're fortunate to see a lot of patch notes, and we're able to start making some assumptions and start some beginning theory crafting, and we all want you guys to jump in and share your thoughts. So that'd be great.
All right, and boom. If you could stop watching adult films real quick and, talk about maybe your Twitter and, anything else, feel free.
Oh, so I am still completely new to Twitter, so feel free to school me. Like I was saying in chat, I'm not actually Beetle Bossy, just so you guys know. I'm also blonde, but I don't have the beard, just in case you're confused. But
yes,
feel free to help me learn how this tweetering thing that you kids call it now.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. At Boomy, I'm not even sure what her stuff is on there. So, oh my god. So, again, thank you for showing up. It took a lot of work this afternoon and this morning to put 2 weeks together. We hope you got your Wildstar weekly news here. Thank you for showing up. Those of you who are active in the chat, we appreciate it. Thank you for the Carbine developers who showed up and had random shit to say. And, for talking all the horse shit that they were over there. For those of you going to San Diego Comic-Con, please take pictures, get them drunk and record them saying crazy shit. Like, we can't be there, so you got to do it for us. When we get out to PAX, I'm going to feed them drinks all night and be like, no, I'm not recording. Tell me about that again. What was that?
Double XL.
So you guys gotta,
Double XL.
Yeah.
Well, especially Gaffney. Apparently it works really well on Gaffney.
Dude, Gaffney is great. Like, we've got some crazy feedback. Anyways, thank you for showing up. We appreciate it. Big thanks to Boom for stepping in for Beetle, our special guest, Anhrez. I'm sure, hopefully, you'll see these folks again in the future, and that's what we're going to say for tonight. So thank you for stopping in to another episode of Late Night Dominion and Exiles 2. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Peace out. Take it easy, folks.
Night.
Night.